I rewrote the first chapter of Left 4 Dead 2 as if you were a survivor, and it's absolutely terrifying. Read along on screen with me or chill back with it in the background. Get ready. Imagine that you were a survivor, suddenly stranded on a rooftop of a hotel as your rescue helicopter flies away. You're checking into a hotel experience that you'd only ever seen in movies. Those poor suckers. Now you realize you're the movie star. The feeling of despair, guilt, and agony pressing deeper into the pit of your stomach. 3 other people that you've never met in your life are now your best, actually only, friends. You grit your teeth and realize that the only way out is through. After a quick introduction, you grab the nearby weapons and first aid kits from the table, curse yourself, and begin to head down the stairs. You're not ready for this. You're not equipped at all. When you woke up this morning, this was the last thing you thought you'd get yourself into. But now you're here, and you have to do something, right? You can't just sit here and die. As you make your way down the stairs and open the door, you feel the heat from the flames slowly suffocating you and peeling the moisture from your skin layer by painful layer. It's really freaking hot in here, and you're scared to death because you don't know if the ceiling is going to collapse, the walls are going to cave in, or the floor crumble beneath your feet. You assume that everyone else is evacuated from the hotel to safety, whether that be running out of the building just in time or jumping from the ledge to their death, which is actually even more terrifying when you realize that the kiss of death is more comforting than burning alive in an inferno disguised as an infested hotel. Wait, infested? Infected? Your body temperature spikes and you begin to soak in fear and worry as you realize that the infestation is actually an infection. And those people that you thought escaped, those are the same people now in a zombie-like trance that you viciously blew and cut their head off. These were real people just like you. The guilt seeps in. They had families, they had friends, and it's contrasted by the gripping feelings of knowing that you did what you had to do to survive. In a perfect, normal world, if there ever would be such a thing, you'd spare a moment to collect yourself and fight through these new emotions that you're having, a fear, anxiety, excitement, and a hunger. Survival is the prey, and you are the predator. But you don't have time for that, because the building is on fire and you're surrounded by vicious innocents turned guilty, not by their own volition, and you have to find a way out of here, now. Since you don't have firefighter gear, and quite frankly there's no one to call for help, you rush through the smoke, coughing and hacking between inhalations, because you have to breathe. Yet, you hate every bit of air that you take in. The very air keeping you alive is that which suffocates you. There's blood seeping and draining all down your leg, and you can't quite tell if the heat is from the fire or from the thick liquid of life itself. Ironically now, all it represents is death. All you know or care to think about is that you don't know whose it is or what kind of creature, rather human, it came from. Your fear is intensified as you are startled. A gigantic humanoid yet terribly grotesque creature jumps from behind the wall. You lock eyes and instincts kick in to exterminate it like your life depends on it, because it does. This instinct very likely saved your life, and this mindset is one that you would have never thought you could possess a mere 24 hours ago. You know, it's kind of funny in a sick and twisted way that you never realized that your hands have been shaking this whole entire time. I guess that's a testament of how the human psyche, our fight or flight response, can behave when the zombies hit the fan. Thankfully, yours kicked in. Some others appear to be not so lucky. After a frantic and frenetic fight for your life, you reach the only working elevator in the burning building. Everything you learned as a kid always taught you that the safest way down during a fire was to take the stairs. Well, the problem is, that which was supposed to be your descent to safety has turned into madness, as this stairway leads to quite the opposite of heaven. And you sure as heck aren't jumping out that window to your death now, not after what you fought for. This is bigger than you now. Humanity itself is at stake, and the zombies are the witch hunters, collectively burning the world alive at that stake. Soon, you'll be a witch hunter too, in another way, if you can survive to tell the tale. You don't know how much time you have left, whether your future is measured in something as plentiful and bountiful as weeks and months and years, or something as devastating as inches or steps. If you make it that far, or if the finality of death is touching the other side of that elevator door. Just like you told yourself earlier, if the only way out is through, you have no choice but to push. But what you do know is that you're not going down without a fight. using what little bit of strength you do have left from the previous 15-minute gauntlet of terror, which felt like endless, dreadful compounding hours weighing down on your psyche, soul, and into your brain. You use the last bit of tired, fatigued muscle fibers, worn away as they are wearing and bearing this pain, forcefully used to pry open the elevator doors. And what do you see? More fire. You laugh a little to yourself, but because what else were you going to expect? A shining ray of hope? Why did you think it was going to be anything different, looking for irony amidst this insanity? I guess the dangling sliver of your strands of hope were praying for something better. With your dreams as broken as the bones of your victims, you press forth out of the elevator. Then you wonder to yourself, why did I actually just laugh about all of this? This isn't actually funny. But I guess if they say that some people cope with the dark times through laughter, well, and if giggling laughter really does help us at our worst times, then I guess I'm bellowing, cackling through this mess, losing my breath from the incessant laughter. Or is that from the smoke? Reality begins to shift as you can't tell the difference between these two things anymore. Or can you? I guess they were right after all, but they never saw this coming. As much as you'd like to pull yourself from this wretched world into the calm, serenity, and tranquility of a daydream, you have no time. The alarm bells of the elevator ring out. Shoot, you exclaim. Yeah, they say you learn something new every day, and you're not quite sure if this is the last day this will hold true for you. Because you thought you were in the clear, as you curse under your breath. As clear as the smoke and fire can make it, that is. But apparently, loud noises attract zombies, with the barriers ahead being walls constructed of flame and the irritated, infected undead, or whatever the heck they are. You and your new lifelines hold your ground, backs against the wall. Because as terrifying as it is to be trapped in the ground level of a burning hotel, hungry zombies ravenously ready to tear your brains out, you realize that if you have to die today, if this is your moment to meet your maker, you'd rather not do it surrounded by the insane infected. You'd rather fight till your dying, inhaled, smoke-filled breath from one direction, not surrounded, and definitely reminding yourself that it's not going to happen without a fight. You suddenly remember you saw a jar on the ground, so you lurch for it with shaking hands. It looks absolutely disgusting and filled with a vile-smelling bile. But you figured that all your years of gaming with FPS taught you that if it looks like a grenade, acts like a grenade, even if it doesn't smell like a grenade, well, it's probably a grenade. That'll come true, and then you'll finally get to use what you've learned from video games in real life, despite everybody always telling you that you never would. The zombies are, for some forsaken reason, attracted to this putrid stench, giving you more of a chance to mercilessly gun them down to the ground and press forward. You've never killed a zombie before, and it's becoming easier and easier as you push and take more lives. That realization haunts you as you become more complacent and apathetic. Is it because they've lost their human features? Well, sort of. They're not zombies, they're just infected and sick people. That's it. They're just sick, and that's sad. They didn't choose this, and yet you were spared. I mean, they still were human, right? Is it because you're becoming numb to it? Maybe this dreadful desensitization is not just for your own survival. And whatever it is, you don't have time to dwell on troublesome thoughts. So you shove them out of your head like you shove your bullets into the infected and press forward. Man, is it getting really freaking hot in here. You've been so busy slaying zombies that you forgot just how much you've been sweating, nearly dropping your gun due to a mix of not so handy perspiration and nerves. Suddenly, you witness your new friend incapacitated and mauled by zombies. Nate, your voice cries, straining and weak as it tries to find the strength. Or wait, was it Nick? You don't really have time to try and get it right. You just have to go and save him. Maybe the human nature you have, isn't fully gone yet. Or maybe you realize that these three strangers are now your only way out of this torture, and as far as you know, the last people left on Earth other than yourself that haven't succumbed to the infection. But you feel kind of selfish for saying that, right? Whatever it may be, it doesn't really matter right now, because you have to get yourself and the others out alive. But you begin to realize that, if it came down to it, would you sacrifice yourself for them? It's a brutal question, and one you really can't think to answer or care about right now, but you wholeheartedly believe that, in the back of your mind, or what's left of it, that there would be someone, somewhere, that would label or bill themselves as the sacrifice. As you exit the smoke-filled hallways of hatred, you notice something in the clear distance. What's that ahead? A literal light at the end of the tunnel? The exit, the front door of this hotel. You've never wanted to check out from a stay so badly. Never before has your life truly depended on it. You're a bit past that checkout time, but you don't care. That does not matter anymore. These last 30 grueling, tiresome steps feel like 300 miles. When fatigue and intensity sets in, time extends. When the final wave of zombies approaches, begging you to stay within their own personal prison, you relent. You look up, the bodies from the hotel above, 30 stories high, free falling to taste their flame-broiled deaths, smashing into the ground, molding into the concrete floor in a goop of flesh and mess. This could have been you, but you can't quit now, because you know. These final steps as you cross out through the door, not out of the hotel to freedom, but into a safe room. A room constructed as a barricade and a source of life amidst this realm of death, an oasis in an undead desert. You realize that as you look at the streets ahead, that your journey hasn't, in fact, come to an end. Because it is here that you realize this nightmare is only getting started, and you have to fight to wake up, or be left for dead. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and click my bile jar analysis video on the screen. I am Alston, thank you for watching.